Hello everyone and welcome back to Black Dahlia. We don't have a whole lot of leads to follow, so let's head back and talk to Sullivan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pearson.
Good afternoon. Or whatever time of day it actually is. Well, we have a whole lot more things we can actually ask him about, but I think it's really good that we get into Penske and what he was doing before he was shipped off. Because we don't have a lot of information there.
If I could, sir, I'd like to see Mr. Penske's case files. I believe there's a connection between this case of mine and the matter he was investigating.
It troubles me to hear you say that, Mr. Pearson. Walt was asked to step down from a case that had no bearing whatsoever on our national security. He countermanded direct orders by refusing to do so, and all on account of a bunch of superstitious nonsense. What possible connection could there be between his mumbo-jumbo and your investigation?
I know it sounds like a lot of nonsense to us, sir, but I think this Brotherhood of Thule believes in it. They've organized themselves around it, in fact.
Point well taken. Unfortunately, I don't have the Penske files. The FBI confiscated them, claimed that Walt overstepped COI bounds and interfered in their jurisdiction. Hoover's men won that round, I'm afraid. Perhaps if you were to ask Mr. Winslow, he could make them available.
Alright. Well, how about Mulhaven? We definitely need to know what his business is, especially now we have a blackmailer involved.
Do we have any information on a man named Mulhaven?
Mulhaven? What's he got to do with this mess?
That's what I'm trying to uncover, sir.
Well, there's not an awful lot I can tell you. He's an industrialist from Chicago. He has a few contracts with the War Department. I believe he has some political aspirations. Apart from that, I know very little about the man.
Well, that's just it. Okay. How much information do you have about a possible blackmailer? German.
Are you aware of any German nationals in town?
Well, actually, there is one. A man named Wilhelm von Hess. Our men in Washington have had their eyes on him for a long time now. We've no idea what he's doing in Cleveland, but we're sure as hell he's not in town for the Great Lakes Expo, as he claims.
Why don't we just ship him back where he belongs?
Now, there's the rub. He's here on a diplomatic mission. Even though our men have long suspected him of spying, we can't deport him without concrete proof, without risking an international incident. And relations between our country and Germany are touchy enough as it is.
Well, I think the man that I shot could be connected to von Hess. Von Hess may even be responsible for Fisher's death, although Detective Merillo doesn't seem to think so. You might be able to pin enough on him there to get him shipped off.
If we can make the connection stick, you can be sure that's the first thing we'll do.
Jeez, he's incredibly gusto about that. Now, we're back here because we're able to show him the photo that we got out of Mulhaven's room.
Do you have any guesses as to where this might have been taken?
Looks like your man was caught in a rather compromising position. There's only one place that a businessman of Mulhaven's stature would go to, a place called Flanagan's on the east side. How'd you come across that photo?
Von Hess has been using it to blackmail Mulhaven.
Can you prove that?
I believe so, sir.
Wonderful. That is just what we need to have Von Hess packed off.
Mr. Sullivan, if you could, I'd like you to hold off on that for now. At least until I can find out why Von Hess is blackmailing Mulhaven.
Very well, Mr. Pearson. This is your investigation. I'll leave it to your discretion.
Thank you, sir.
He's incredibly gusto about it. It's like, yeah, let's get a person shipped off. Yeah! Alright, so. In terms of the inventory, can't really show him much else. We just got that photo. Surprised that Sullivan really wouldn't have anything to say about the Raven Room, but I guess that's just not his area. It's very clear at this point that we're dealing with Mulhaven in that photo. Whoever the woman is, who knows? Could be any number of women at this point. But we have a bunch of different locations to now go to. Not only do we have Flanagan's, which is what Sullivan just mentioned, but we also have the FBI office. We need to talk to Dick. Really don't want to talk to him. But we have to if we want to figure out anything about the Penske file.
Well, Jimbo! Well, what brings you here, sport?
I was hoping you could give me a little information.
Sure, anything to help a fellow agent. Yeah, run along, Candy darling. Say, I hope you're not still sore at me for this morning. I think you're doing a fine job. We still friends?
Yeah, sure, Dick. We're still friends.
Great, just great. Say, can I get you anything? A smoke, perhaps?
No, thanks. I don't really like to smoke.
Oh, but have you ever tried one of these? They're imported straight from Turkey. Finest cigarettes I've ever tasted.
No, thank you, and can you back up like 7 feet out of the room? That is... I love that we have to do the entire conversation with him that close. It's, I don't like this man. Less and less.
Have you fellas identified the man I shot?
We're still working on that. My best guess is that he was working for the mob.
Even though he was carrying an SS-issue gun?
Yes, well, we did put an inquiry in with the German consulate. They disavowed all knowledge of him.
That's to be expected, isn't it?
Well, I suppose so. But Louis did have ties to the mob. It stands to reason that his past might finally catch up to him.
Louis hadn't worked for the mob for years, but he was working as a messenger for this German Brotherhood.
Oh, really? And what brotherhood would that be?
An outfit that calls itself the Brotherhood of Thule. That's what I've been investigating.
You don't say. Well, my years of experience with the Bureau tell me that this was a mob hit. But if you really think that there's something to this Brotherhood thing...
I do.
Well, then Dick Winslow's not the type of man to leave any stone unturned. I'll make sure someone looks into it.
I won't leave any stone unturned. I'm going to let somebody else do it because it's very easy to make it stick on a mob case.
Does the Bureau have any information on a man named Mulhaven?
Why do you need to know?
I think he might be in a fix with some Nazis.
Look, I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but we've had our eyes on him for some time now. Joseph Mulhaven is the type of man who'll play both sides of the fence until he's certain which side will come out ahead. For the past year, he's been campaigning tirelessly in Chicago on isolationist grounds, but his companies have been secretly gearing up for the war effort. Well, he stands to clean up if America joins the war in Europe.
Would playing both sides of the fence include making deals with the Nazis?
It wouldn't be out of the question. But for all of Mulhaven's sins, he doesn't seem like someone who'd be very likely to sell out to the Nazis. Quite frankly, I don't think he has a stomach for espionage.
I guess that's true. It's the most professional thing I think you've heard you said.
Do your men know of any German nationals in town?
No, aren't Germans more up your alley, sport? We've got nothing to do with that sort of thing anymore.
All the same.
Well, just between you and me. There is a German diplomat in town by the name of von Hess.
What's his story?
Oh, he's a career politician for the German government. My superiors in Washington suspect him of spying, but really, if he were, what would he be doing in Cleveland?
What indeed? Nothing much else on Von Hess. How about getting some papers from you, sport?
I understand the Bureau has Mr. Penske's case files.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have them right here in my safe. Why do you ask?
I'd like to get a look at them.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry, Jimbo. I can't open them up without a direct order from my superiors. It's completely out of my hands, I'm afraid. Now, if it were up to me, I'd hand them right over to you.
There's no way I can get a look at them?
If it were only up to me. No, there's nothing in there anyway, sport, really, just a lot of nonsense. He went completely batty there at the end. Not a lot of time to talk right now, sport. Could you come back round again later?
Sure thing, Dick.
Yeah, I have some candy in the back that I gotta go eat. It's terrible. So, yeah, something tells me that we're coming back here. We're gonna need those files one way or another. But not now, not when he's in the room. So, let's waste some time right now. Seeing as going back to the FBI office at this point doesn't make really a whole lot of sense, let's head to Flanagan's. See if we can find anything out about Mulhaven right now.
The girl at the door downstairs told me that this was his regular room. I guess Mr. Mulhaven hasn't shown up yet.
Well, this is certainly the room that he occupies in the photo. Yeah, pretty accurate. The only thing is that, well, Flanagan's is a really minimalist area where, unless Mulhaven is here and we have all of the necessary stuff in our inventory, there's no reason to come here. But it does give us a lot of time to leave the FBI office and come back, and something, hopefully, will be different.
Dick? Sounds like he's busy right now.
I can only imagine standing in the FBI hallway of the bunch of offices, going up to his door, and just yelling, "Hey! Dick! You in there, Dick?" Jesus. "Hey, Dick, you there?" Oh boy. Okay, so, he's preoccupied. Very easy to see that. Here's the safe. Kind of easy to figure out where the safe actually is because he completely blocks you just in his body language altogether. But we don't have a combination for the safe, so we gotta figure out what that might be. And the answer is somewhere in this room. Of course, with a standard combination lock like that, we're looking for 3 numbers. That makes sense. There certainly is a lot, though, in order to investigate inside of Winslow's office. Just gives you little snippets and other things about, well, kind of his life and where he comes from. Sports definitely is his background, mainly. Cornell and Dartmouth win. Hands down Navy 21-0, 21-20. It's definitely football. And there we go. Okay, we can go a little bit further. Forgot about that. Of course, all these photos, all these different little snippets here. We've got photos here of... Oh, look at him! Isn't that just Mickey Rooney? I think that just is. Alright. His admirers. And then we have the 2 photos over here where Winslow is just kind of doctored into the photo. Like, I think the photo is real, but Winslow kind of peeping up in the background, that is not in any case. Harvard 19, Yale 6, 1935. Yeah, he must have played for Harvard. Of course he would play the winning team. I mean, nice twist of story to have him play for the losing team. How would that factor into the story? Really, I have no idea. Not much here. Although we could just look at this from the other angle, so... Alright. Let's see. There should be just, like, one more thing I could look at. I think it was over on this area. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Richard E. Winslow. Our wonderful FBI certificate from J. Edgar Hoover himself. Yeah, good. Alright. Know what the combination is yet? Because it's actually that score that we found. So 19, 6, and 35 is the last one. Now, the problem I have with this doing the combination lock is that clicking on the right-hand side of it makes it go clockwise. Clicking on the left side of it makes it go counterclockwise. And for some reason, I get it mixed up on how you're supposed to start it. And how to do it, even though I've had a combination lock for, like, my school locker for many years. Let me go over here, and there we go. So yeah, it's clockwise, counterclockwise, a full rotation, and then counterclockwise again. And that will get you in. A security check pass. Can't hurt to take that. There's really not a whole lot in this safe, but luckily, what we're looking for is in the safe.
I can't believe his combination's a football score. Why, I bet he didn't even let her.
Yoink. So, there's a lot of information in here, and don't worry about getting all of it, because it's actually put into the notebook Pearson keeps. But I'll just go over the gist of it. The two articles here, one about rare artifacts stolen, is just about a strange disappearance of artifacts in Austria. Nobody knows how they were taken, and nothing was disturbed, so it was kind of like a really high-profile theft. What it could possibly be, I don't know. The other is about a doctor, Dr. Eisenstadt, who also fled Austria. No idea how he was able to get out of the country. And in terms of where he could possibly be today, no one knows. He's completely disappeared off the face of the planet. Now, by doctor, he's a philosopher as well. Why he decided to have a change of heart between, being, pro-German and supporting Hitler to the change that he had, I have no idea either. So that definitely doesn't say in the article, anyways. Now, all of these really have to do with Walter Penske himself. They're not entirely in chronological order, though. But the first two have to do with pretty much the final steps of his case that he was investigating. Specifically onto a certain object, or subject, that he codenamed Dahlia. What Penske was originally thinking that the Dahlia was some sort of experimental technology that the Germans were cooking up. But it turns out it had a more mystical sense to it that the Nazis were trying to get. And if they got it, he believed that it would be the key to winning the war. How, in terms of mystical mumbo-jumbo, no idea. But this kind of connects to one of the first articles that we read back in the first video, which talked about how there was a secret outlet of the Nazi Party that was really into mystical objects. And Hitler, in the case of this game anyways, really liked mystical artifacts. I can definitely see why this is certainly the area, especially in the month of August, where Penske was overstepping his bounds. He was not looking into German nationalists anymore. He was looking into stopping World War II. He even says here, Bill even made a personal letter to him, going, "You need to stop this." Getting a cease and desist letter is not a great thing to see.
The Sunnyvale rest home. So that's where they've got Penske.
So what does this mean for Penske? Well, like Sullivan briefly mentioned, he was put up on the board of directors, up to a panel, and was deemed unfit for service anymore because he was so deep into whatever the Dahlia is. They did many things, including just stripping him of all title with the COI, and stuck him in some place in order to be taken care of. Supposed mental exhaustion.
Like that, huh?
Yeah, there we have it. There's that hearing. All of these level 3 security clearance, whatever the different levels really mean. I'm sure there is some importance to it, but I never know. But that's pretty much all of the Penske files.
Jimbo! How long you been out here, sport?
Not very long. I just got here.
You, didn't by any chance hear anything, did you?
No, I didn't hear a thing.
Good, good. Say, I am a little busy now.
That's okay. I'll come back later.
That's awful swell of you, sport.
He does it a lot if he's able to get suited up constantly. But everybody plays it cool and nobody gets hurt. So there we have it. Alright, so we have the Penske files at least figured out of what he was doing before he finished. And then in a few weeks, then we just kind of hopped on. And we get Winslow's pass, which doesn't seem to be a whole lot of use right now, but it actually comes in use immediately, especially for the next part of the game, because now we have the information to go and find Penske himself. As you can see here, now we can go through our notepad. It has the runes from the loft right in there, and then it has all of the really important information, like Eisenstadt leaving Austria, and all of the Penske information, which in this case is chronological order. It's much more helpful. Well, seeing as we have everything available to us now, and a lot less available to us at this point, can't even go back to Hotel Cleveland, but at this point we have no reason to. So, I will see you next time, everyone, as we go and finally meet Walter Penske at the Sunnyvale Rest Home. See you next time, everyone.